Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Izola here with FlickDirect, and I got my hands on the 4K UHD newly released of the Fantastic Four, the first steps, and I have some thoughts. Like to share it with you. So grab your popcorn, sit back, relax, and let's get this started. So let's start off with a little bit of a movie recap. So this movie actually starts off in the 1960s where Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm's have already been the Fantastic Four for about a few years now. So this kind of changes it up from previous movies where they're all the origin story and we see how they become the Fantastic Four. Now, don't get me wrong, there's montages and there's kind of things to get you up to speed on all of the things that have happened. So it's not like they just poof, they're here. But by having those montages and whatnot, it kind of gets you to the main meat and potatoes of the plot, which is really what we want to get at. And that's where the Silver Surfer, who is female, comes to Earth to basically give warning, notice, imminent demise, I guess, that Galactus will be coming. And he is going to, basically just get rid of the Earth. The Earth's not going to exist anymore. It's not needed. It's just a waste of space. And for those of you who don't know, Galactus is this super villainous planet-eating being. Yeah, just, goes around eating planets. Because that's what he does. But anyway, the team has to come together to protect the Earth. But then the stakes get a little higher because Galactus decides to make this very dark and personal demand about Reed and Sue's unborn child. I wonder what that could be. Well, I guess you're just going to have to watch to find out, which I'm sure most of you have watched this already. But for those of you who haven't, that's just, kind of a little bit of a synopsis of what you're going to get in the movie. So overall, I really enjoyed this. I thought that they did a good job on the origin story itself, right? So you get a little montage, you kind of figure out what's going on. They're all super smart, strong, whatever. This is what they do. They have to work together as a team to get things done. Everybody loves them. They just did a great job of not making it the same thing that we've seen, even though I do find it funny that a lot of people complained about how predictable the plot was. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of, but not as predictable as the other, however many, I lost count, 3 that came out before this. And also, if you've read the comics, they're all going to be predictable. Captain America was predictable. Do you know what I mean? Because you knew what was coming. There were just some things that were switched. But anyway, I do think that they did a really good job on this. They didn't focus on the beginning. They focused kind of on the middle, and then you have the family dynamic. It was just emotional. It was believable, especially just the way that the actors worked together. They just sold it, especially Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby. Their just relationship in the movie, they're not together, stop that stuff. It was perfect. I really enjoyed it. And then just the little banter between, the characters and how much you could just tell it was a very strong family dynamic on the set. So that obviously bled into how it came on screen. And then speaking of, well, it wouldn't be screen, but what we saw on screen, can we just talk about the costumes? Costumes were beautiful. Then we have the sets. It was mid-century modern. And yes, I am a spooky girl, but I also love me some mid-century modern furniture. And I wanted to live there. I want to live there so bad. It was so pretty. I just love the whole aesthetic and the vibe of the movie. And they did it really well. They didn't go over the top to make it fit the timeline, but it was just, I just loved it. It was just, they did a really great job. I also know that some people kind of complained about Silver Surfer and how they handled Galactus. I thought they did a pretty good job. Look, Galactus is really strong. You got to figure out weird ways to stop these supervillains, and that's how they stopped him. As for the Silver Surfer, the primary complaint was that she was female. Well, if you read the comics, you would know that there is a female Silver Surfer. Okay, so maybe let's calm ourselves with that cranky bit of it. Don't get me wrong, I did love Doug Jones as Silver Surfer way back in the day, but they did a really good job with her. And I wish that people would just give different things a chance. It doesn't always have to be the same thing every single time. Those are the same people who are complaining that it was predictable. Again, I didn't really think that too much. I was able to enjoy the movie throughout. And again, it was just aesthetically pleasing to the eye. The acting was great. The plot, yes, maybe a little slow in some areas, but overall it was enjoyable. I didn't want to not watch it. I didn't get bored. And because of all of this, I'm giving the movie a 4 out of 5. And now on to video. This 4K transfer, which includes the Dolby Vision HDR, is a definite win. Again, I have not been disappointed with a lot of the video transfers in a while. There were a couple where they probably could have done better, or they overdid some things and it just didn't work too well. But this, again, winner, chicken dinner. The images are sharp. You're not going to miss out on anything. It's colorful. The HDR just enhances the image with deeper colors, better contrast. But when you need that little bit of softness, you get it. So they really did a great job focusing on where you needed those harsh contrasts and then to soften it up a bit. So thank you for that. I would also like to say that when they got up to, super close to the characters, you saw everything. You got some pores, Ben and all his little ridges, and everything was just so spot on. And the paint, coloring, CGI for the most part, 99% of it, really good. There were a couple spots where they may have overdone it just a little bit, but again, doesn't take away from the overall beauty and visuals of the movie. The sets and the costumes, again, just spectacular. I mean, I want to make their uniforms, I guess we would call them, their suits. And there's just so much detail to it. Like I had to do screenshots and just, kind of blow it up. And then I was like, maybe I should have someone make this for me. I don't think I could do this justice because I want it to be perfect. And yes, I could just, slap some blue and white fabric together. But again, if you look closely to the detail in the sewing pieces, it's gorgeous. Love it. I can't really think of anything visually that rubbed me the wrong way. Again, like I said, there were a couple little bits of the CGI. I would probably say it looks a little over polished. But again, that's really being nitpicky, and I'm not going to fault that and take away points because of that. Because again, it was just like very nitpicky, and they were trying to, get this as perfect as possible. Visuals, completely amazing, stunning, loved it. And because of this, I'm giving the visuals a 5 out of 5. And now on to the audio. We are getting a 4K UHD release with obviously the Dolby Atmos track. Again, don't know when they don't use it anymore. Well, no, I take that back. We've had a few where I've had to talk about that where they didn't have a Dolby Atmos track. Yeah. Okay, scratch that. But we do have it, and it does not disappoint at all. When does it ever? I think there was one. Other than that, they've been knocking it out of the park. The sound has just been great. Audio quality has been perfection on all of these. So obviously, do we have much to complain about on this one? Absolutely not. It's lively, it's dynamic. You have the soundscape spreading across nicely, like in your home theater. If you don't have a home theater, it still feels like you kind of got that theater vibe. So don't worry, you're not going to really miss out on too much. Although I do recommend maybe getting some speakers for behind you because that really helps with the surround sound. It's so great. I love just hearing all of the sounds that come from every which way. You just feel fully immersed in the movie itself. Dialogue is clear throughout. So when people are whispering, you're not going to have to worry about that. Obviously, yelling, you're not going to have to turn your sound up and down too much to kind of adjust for the mix. It actually does a very good job doing that for you. The low frequency effects, super impactful, especially with Galactus, because, you know, he's very menacing and it's the dark, deep sounds. It works really, really well. The bass kicks in though. So if you live in an apartment, just FYI, maybe not have it turned up too high because the whole place will shake. So, I mean, but he is a supervillain and he eats planets. So obviously, bass is going to be booming. There's really not a time where the sound felt off in any way. I really think that you're going to enjoy the audio in this movie and especially the 4K release. So because of this, it gets a 5 out of 5. And now on to the extras. And we've got a few. You know, I'm always overly picky about the extras. They always bum me out. But, you know, this is a standard release, but they don't skimp out. We actually get a few things, and I was pleasantly surprised. So thank you for this. I really enjoyed it. So first off, you have the director and production designer giving full-length commentary on the insight to how they came up with like the retro design and the overall production. Then you get some featurettes like Meet the Family, Fantastic Futurism, From Beyond and Below. Can't speak today. And those are fun as well. You know, you kind of just get some behind the scenes, and we love behind the scenes. But here's where we get to the good bits. We got some deleted scenes, and then we got a gag reel. And you know how I am. You give me a gag reel. You know this cast was just a barrel of laughs. Like, I just wish I could be a fly on the wall while this was being filmed because you know it was so much fun. So gag reel, go watch it. Look, aside from being a huge Marvel fan, and I love Fantastic Four, I was going to buy this anyway, right? So that's not the problem. The problem is that I'm usually a little disappointed with the extras, but just for even if you were like, yeah, the movie's fine, get it for the extras, the gag reel. Again, when you're streaming things, you don't get this stuff, right? So I think there's a win right there. Extra, bonus, get it. But again, they give you a bunch of fun stuff. It's enjoyable. It's entertaining. And because of this, I'm giving the extras a 4 out of 5. Overall, the Fantastic Four First Steps is a very strong 4K UHD package for fans and collectors. I mean, even if you're not a huge MCU fan, Marvel fan, whatever, you just like the movie, you're gonna love this release. Because again, you're getting great audio and visuals. You're getting a fun movie. You're getting all the extras, the gag reel. I told you I would be talking this thing up. And it's just a fun, retro feely kind of movie, but still feels a little modern somehow. I really don't know how to explain it. I loved seeing Galactus and Silver Surfer up on the screen as well. The plot, where some may have thought it was a little predictable, I didn't really hate it that much. Like, I think it flowed well, aside from, you know, a couple things here and there. Predictability is going to be normal when stories have been out for however long they have. So that's like watching Hamlet and saying it's predictable. Of course it's predictable. It's been out for hundreds of years. So deal with it. It's just what you're going to get. And there's not too much that you can change without changing the complete story. So I think they did a good job. The acting is great. Can't complain there. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I'm so glad that this one did well, but I'm getting off topic here. Overall, the UHD release is going to be great in your library. For adults and children alike, you're all going to enjoy it. And because of this, I am giving the 4K UHD release of the Fantastic Four First Steps a 4.5 out of 5. I mean, we're top tier right now on this one. I just enjoyed it so much. I will watch it again. I have no problems with it. Again, it was fun. It's entertaining, and it's rewatchable however many times I decide to rewatch it. Now, if you would like to get your hands on a copy of this, it is available now in stores and online. So go run out and get your copy or order it today. And, come back if you haven't seen the movie. Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, let me know what you think of just the overall experience of this 4K UHD release. I'd really love to know your thoughts. And with that, this concludes my review of the 4K UHD release of Fantastic Four: The First Steps. Please be sure to like and subscribe to all of our channels so you never miss out on any entertainment news. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.